Oh,
Since we're doing this, I mean,
I guess that's that's a fair point.
There's no preamble necessary. If you're seeing this, I'm sorry. You know who we are and you know what we do.
Pretty much. We're
but if
we're
we're having this discussion, I mean, we might as well be rolling on it. This is kind of what we endeavored to do with the After Dark in the first place. Is if we're having these conversations.
That is fair. Yeah, that's a very fair point.
Yes. So, Courtney, how did you fail at music then?
Yeah, and I can repeat what I was talking about after that.
You know what's so funny is I literally just had a memory of the first time I ever did a performance that was with instruments. I was assigned to play the gong. When I was probably like 6 or 7, so I don't think that really speaks to my musical. Like most people, I started playing the recorder, and then I took piano lessons for 8 years, 8 years, a long time. Wow. Which, as I just told you guys, like I can't sight read. And reading sheet music is something that like I have to work for. And kind of like what you were saying, Shane, like if I hear something, I can tell it's the wrong note. And so I would play a lot by ear. And then I ended up, I took singing lessons for 10 years. At 15, I started taking college level singing courses. And then I started working and that just kind of stopped. But part of that too was like, well, if you can't sight read music, like, why are you taking these classes? You're not going to get your degree in this. It's a lot of extra work for little payout. And so that's when I basically stopped.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's hard to really soldier through that, particularly when you look around the room and everybody else is just like writing notes down as they play a line. And I'm like,
what?
I don't even know if this is a rest. Half note, whole note. Who?
Dang near killed her.
Indeed.
Can you guess what instrument I first played?
The harmonica.
No, I mean like in an actual like music like class.
The harmonica.
No. We didn't have that.
I mean, technically we all play the recorder at some point. I feel like it's dyed in the wool. So
yeah.
Is
after,
you play something prior to that? Okay.
No, after that. Sorry.
Skin flute.
You're only half wrong.
Slide whistle.
Pan flute.
Oh god, I wish I could play the pan flute.
No, ocarina.
I actually need you to play a slide whistle on here at some point, though. I feel like that would fit your shtick.
Oh man, I'd be like, yeah, we're out of here. No, I actually did start on the flute for a completely stupid reason.
What?
I throw tall.
I know. I wanted to play the piccolo because that was the name of a character in a show that I loved watching, Dragon Ball Z. I was like, oh, Piccolo, I like that name. I want to play it. And they're like, no, you got to play the flute first. And I'm like, okay, I'll play the flute.
You make so much more sense to me as a human being now.
I played flute for 5 years, all the way through freshman year in high school, when I learned that I was woefully unprepared for pretty much sounding like a person screaming high-pitched in someone's ear. I also played piccolo for a time. I went through half a semester before I had my music teacher tell me I was playing an octave lower than I should have.
Oh, okay. However, not to cut your story off, that is the title of your first album, Piccolo for a time.
And so I got into actual high school and I marched, and I realized that actual high school, and I realized I couldn't play worth a damn. And and there we go. I guess YouTube monetization, whatever. Monetization be damned. My band director was like, hey, you want to play baritone? It's got 3 buttons and it's nowhere near as high as what you're doing. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take you up on that.
He can go lower if you ask him to.
And I proceeded to do that. I played baritone, or for people that aren't aware of what baritone is. And yes, I did do a facial tick there.
If you're not a fan of woodwinds.
Baritone, I'd call it an oversized trumpet or a trumpet on steroids. The actual other name for it is a euphonium. It's pretty much a valve trombone. It sounds similar to a trombone, and which is why I quickly picked up trombone not too long after that.
We also refer to it affectionately as the dick whistle.
pretty much when you want to look like you're, unless you're one of those tryhards that marched in drum corps, it's a heavy instrument. You have to hold it. Now that I have a visual medium, you have to hold it out like this, and it's about a 5-pound instrument. So you kind of look pretty tough when you're holding something out, and people are like, oh, it's not that bad. And you tell them to hold it, especially for marching, for about 10-15 minutes. And it gets heavy.
Yeah, it's difficult
because you're holding it out instead of like holding it close. And then also, fun fact, I was a drum major for a year in high school.
Yeah, I didn't march in drum corps. I drummed in march corps.
That's fair.
When you said real high school, was that a dig at me?
No. Oh, I realized that could have. No, that's fair. I apologize. No, not actual high school. I meant like, I don't know why I said actual.
I don't know why you said actual high school either. But,
yeah,
unless you were like doing High School Musical somewhere.
I wish. No, I don't.
Well, then, is anybody going to guess what instrument I played first?
I don't know why, but I'm going to guess trumpet. Nothing. It just popped in my head.
No, I feel like it was still something with strings.
Wrong on both counts.
Dang it.
I was going to be a drummer.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. When I make the joke, like when you hear my material often enough, it all actually has a grounding in reality. I thought I was going to be a drummer, and then the first time I sat on the stool, I almost fell over trying to hit the kick. So I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. But I had like the little steno practice pad and a set of sticks, and that was what I started with. And then my folks were like, yeah, you're not doing this. We're not investing time and effort. And what's funny is, of the musical proxies in my family, I am the one least likely. They made both of my siblings take piano lessons and trained the both of them to be musicians. And my sister doesn't do anything. She did actually play, I think, the saxophone.
Wow.
The bitch whistle, as opposed to the dick whistle. Yeah. Sorry, YouTube. And then my brother plays guitar, and this is how I wound up playing guitar. But both of them took piano lessons, and my brother loves playing music, wants nothing to do with people. So bands are not in his future, and he's not one who wants to play in front of people. He just likes to do it to, calm the savage beasts in his head. So enough. I stole away with, I did play harmonica after that, however, so I can actually play harmonica. I have 3 separate keys sitting in my closet presently that I inherited from my grandfather. And then I stole my brother's guitar when he went away to college, and taught myself how to play the instrument just purely by ear. So I had a chord book I found eventually, but the first song I ever learned was a Hootie and the Blowfish song called Michelle Post, which is basically just a G and a C bouncing back and forth with an E and a D whipped in there occasionally. So I just sat and figured out what the sounds were, and taught myself how to do the instrument from that point. So why I don't do it very well, because I had to, like a home chef, I didn't know how to do this formally. So I just threw crap in the pot until I thought it tasted all right.
And you play a couple different instruments besides harmonica and guitar, right?
Yeah. So I also was the bass player in several bands. It's how I started playing in the latter back in the day. And then I taught myself how to play the mandolin as well.
Ooh.
Which is still my favorite sounding instrument. And it's delightful. So most of the time, if it's got strings on it, I can kind of make it work. I was messing around with a undersized cello. It's
a viola.
Yes, thank you.
Or are you talking about literally?
No,
like
it's a viola.
Tiny... Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sam had one that she was training people on, and I was playing that, and she's like, "Yeah, your bowing needs a lot of help." As like, well, I haven't been trained, madam.
I'm not classically trained, as you well know.
I watched Jimmy Page play a guitar with one of these things, and you for 6 years. So obviously, I have not had good patterns of behavior. That's why
sounds
she and
like
I get along
bad
so
teachers.
Well. No question. And Sam does offer violin lessons if you want your child not to do it right. Kid. Anywho, yeah, this is completely extemporaneous, but we were having this conversation. But to your point then, Courtney, once I stopped being a music major, I put my tail firmly between my legs and went back to Lake Havasu and finished up my collegiate career at Mojave Community College.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Which is quite lovely. They have a wonderful library, by the way. Shout out to the MCC library. Good folks over there in Lake Havasu.
And this episode is sponsored by Mojave Community College.
They don't have the budget.
Oof.
Yeah, they can't afford to give people paper at that college. I'm afraid that's we were out sketching in the sand with sticks.
Well, your degree is actually written on in pen on your hand, and that's all you're given.
This is how brilliant they are over at MCC. They offered my astronomy course at 7 a.m. The only time we were ever supposed to see the fucking stars was during one lab. We had a lab at 7 p.m. that I was not able to go to because I was playing a show. And so I did not go, but the entire time we were there at sunup to talk about the stars. So we went and actually stared at the sun at one point. They were trying to show us how to see sunspots and solar flares and things with using weird materials. So yeah, they're not real bright over there, particularly in this department.
All righty. Well, so you're saying I have a chance to become a faculty member.
Faculty emeritus at MCC if you try hard enough, sir.
I'm in.
That's how I hope to retire. I legitimately checked to see if they have library positions open. I was like, if their manager quits, I'm just going to be the Lord of Lake Havasu again. I'll move back there, be one of the guys that plays music that was written, after the 1970s.
You'll be the next Chuck Dederich.
You say that.
Cult.
What's funny is in Lake Havasu, the music store is run by a gentleman who, I shit you not, is named Chucky Bumps.
No.
And
good old Chucky Bumps.
Chucky Bumps, and the store is called Bump City Music. I still love you, Chuck, by the way, on the off chance. But yeah, like 3 or 4 of my first instruments I had. Dickering with Chuck down there, and he had like the Elvis Presley pompadour.
Whoa.
He was rocking like rockabilly hair into the early aughts and still desperately trying to make it work for him. And that man had a lot of gigs, and you could record at Bump City. So obviously it's a thriving music scene in Lake Havasu because I was a big fish there. So if you can just envision the sort of bullshit that goes on in that scene. When I first started playing music there, like the 2 genres you could expect other than Chuck's rockabilly band was either nu metal or punk. Those were the only things going. So the only reason that I developed any sort of a reputation in Havasu is that I would go play festivals that featured punk bands and metal bands, and I would just get up with an acoustic guitar and drone on about my feelings. And occasionally would play Johnny Cash songs, and that with the punk crew got over pretty decently. So the only reason I had any sort of a connection or rapport with any of those folks is like, that guy's got balls, because we booed the hell out of him his first 4 songs, and then he played Folsom Prison Blues and then stuck his middle finger up at everybody, and we were his best friend afterward. So strange sets of permutations in the music scene there.
How funny.
Lots of fun. So there you go, is a little storytelling with the kids from the Disinformed podcast about how we all failed at music.
I mean, at least you're still doing it.
I'm actively failing at music. Yes, thankfully, I've invested the time to continue to lose money. But Courtney, it's okay. We're gonna start the Disinformed band up very soon.
Oh,
it's a thing. Michael's even going to be invited to take part.
Is John though?
No.
Well, we'll invite him. He just won't show up.
Yeah, he won't show. He'll offer to mix the sessions.
Yeah, he'll do it for free.
He shall. But
I'm curious. Oh, go ahead.
No, please. I was just making a joke about Michael playing all 3 of the notes he can.
That's all you can expect, but that I will play those notes like nobody's business.
You bring that dick whistle, son.
I'll just show up with the slide whistle. And, is it my turn? Can I go yet? Can I go? Oh. And I'll do it like weirdly off pitch. I don't know how, but it would sound off pitch. It would make everything sound like a dissonant, like a chalkboard nail. And I'll do it like halfway through the song instead of at the end or something.
A chalkboard nail.
A chalkboard nail.
We have
Not
so many
t-shirts
t-shirts in the offing. So we've got dick whistle for you, and added to which we have chalkboard nail now. That is your new band name. But Courtney, you were asking a question.
Oh, I was just curious. So you mentioned that your older siblings, it sounded like, had music kind of more pushed on them and you didn't, and you end up still doing music. Michael, did you also have music kind of pushed on you by parents, or was it kind of something you just did because you enjoyed it?
I did it because I enjoyed it, and my parents enjoyed it because I never practiced. So they're like, yeah, sure. Yeah. And eventually my first year in high school, my mom was like, you've been playing flute long enough. I'm going to buy you your own flute. And so she went out, got it, or actually like bought it on loan, like a rent to own or something like that, which was great because that music store went out of business. And so we just owned it. And within that year or so I had it for a year and I loved the flute. And then I switched instruments and so it went into, I think she finally gave it away to someone else because she's like, well, you're not using it. I'm like, yeah, get rid of it. Like it's in great condition. It's 10 plus years old.
I never put my mouth on it.
Not
playing it with your nose. Kid from The Simpsons.
Don't flutes have like a spit trap that has to be cleaned pretty regularly?
No. It comes at the end. Most instruments do, but the flute doesn't. It's literally just a long cylinder with holes that you press.
Michael the flautist.
It's only really brass instruments that have spit valves, and let me tell you, those fill up. It's great when you don't, and then you start getting gargling noises. That's a sign. It's like,
oh
hey,
my god.
Yeah. So how about you, Courtney? Did you have it forced on you? Do you have a spit trap?
No, I don't, but maybe I should get one.
That's what your husband's for.
Spit valves are very useful. You just open the little valve and it all comes out. It's great.
No, I was more like when he's sleeping, just grab him by the throat, hold his mouth open, and just spit in his face.
Yeah, that's the valve. His throat is the valve.
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 The valve.
So
anyway. No, that's a different part of the body.
And Roy Yarmundsen.
I don't come from a very musical family. My dad does play guitar, self-taught, and he used to do like worship music for our home group. So because growing up in church, I ended up singing at church. And then they did start signing. Once I realized that like I could do it fairly well, they were like, great, you're doing piano, you're taking this music class, you're gonna do private voice lessons. So it was kind of pushed, but I ended up really enjoying it. So I ended up interning for a choir, and we were supposed to go to Carnegie Hall, but that never happened, which is still my biggest disappointment.
That is understandable. I would be the same amount of disappointed.
So I was supposed to have a solo at Carnegie Hall, but anyways.
Well, you didn't practice enough.
Yeah, it's all been downhill from there.
That's true. That's actually where my life took a turn for the worse.
I peaked before I could actually peak.
Well, I will hold that over your head then.
Sorry. Continue. I thought.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, my choir performed at the Kennedy Center.
Oh.
And no one was assassinated. I was very upset. False advertising.
My high school would march at our Veterans Day parade. We would march in a square mile, and that was it. Didn't get shot because it was Peoria. But anyway, my dad was the only person that was musically inclined. He played drums in the 70s. So based off of that information, Shane, can you guess who his favorite band was at the time?
Jethro Tull.
Close, but no. He was a big fan of Rush.
Black Sabbath. Dad coming.
He played they're called quads. They're the 4 drums or tenors, I guess, or another term for them. Marching.
Asher's really upset at you.
They're 4 different size drums.
Yeah. He also in the run, so you can actually do drum solo on your own.
Yeah, he's also fairly short, and he marched at one point he tried marching the largest bass, which was about the size of him.
So he just rolled with it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He tried out once for it, and he's like, no, never again.
He looked like the cover of a bad children's book. Like
a
Beady boy with a giant drum.
Yeah. But that's the only musical thing that my family had.
Well, to your father, I say, pa rum pa pum pum.
That's a Rush reference that I don't get. Is it? No.
I brought a clue for you, pa rum pa pum pum, but it still wouldn't do. No rum pa pum pum, rum pa pum pum. Michael is dumb.
I only have these books to look smart. There's
It's just cardboard with paper folded around it to look like a book jacket.
No, I bought them. I just haven't opened them. That's why they look so nice.
They smell of rich mahogany.
Like these this is the thing that, like, if you want to pretend to be a physicist, you buy. They're the Feynman lectures. And they were like $150, and I've opened them probably like a handful of times.
You've heard of the Hyman?
The Feynman.
I know. I just want
the Feynman. I don't know what you're talking about. That makes no sense to me.
The Hyman almost got me fired from Tower Records.
I was about to say Arizona doesn't really teach any sex ed, so that's all I'll say there.
I went to Lake Havasu High School. I can tell you they certainly do. Mostly it was the teachers to the students.
Oh.
It's a little different than
Not
Peoria,
kidding.
but,
a good friend of mine who I was in journalism with, who I was very sweet on for a long time, had an illicit affair with one of the teachers, and he was fired because of it.
That was the same thing for one of our theater teachers. Yeah.
It's very difficult.
My teachers were my parents.
Well,
do you have something to tell us?
Yeah. Are we about to get in some Alabama territory here? Okay, good.
Daddy, no who's not my daddy.
For legal purposes, yes.
Indeed. Wow, that took a turn. We were having fun, and then, you had to take it into incest, Michael.
It's wincest.
It's about right for Michael.
I usually kill or ruin things. That's my shtick. Words, topics, people.
It's good to have a brand.
It. Physics.
Mm-hmm.
The broken equation of my life, the Michael Clark story.
Oof.
Musical to be penned and performed by Chucky Bumps and the Wailers.
Good old Chucky Bumps.
Good old Chucky Bumps. Good friend of Whitney's.
God damn.
Sorry, it happens. Well, here's for fun impromptu and me outing Hootie and the Blowfish adoration here.
Oh, there you go.
What a wonderful thing. And Courtney, you will have a second bite at the apple, I assure you. Before you die, you and I will be on stage together somewhere.
Hopefully.
I'm just like, what kind of stage? I didn't know you knew how to pole dance too.
Disinformed Pole Dance Academy.
The there Umbrella Academy, as far as I'm aware.
I get it. I'm the chimp. But
it's what it's going to look like when I'm on the pole. It's just an umbrella slowly folding.
Oh, no.
Hot thighs.
I'm just picturing the sound from a tooth.
I'm trying a little tenderness here, and it's just not happening. Also, I'm surprised you didn't be like, okay, well, we've got 6 months as a window, kid. We need to get cracking.
That's true. I am on track to join the 27 club, so we do need to get me famous in the next 6 months. Otherwise, my life was worthless.
I'm on it. We'll start with stickers.
Yay.
Speaking of which, we didn't even mention that on the air, so I suppose we'll run that in here. Fan Fusion is not taking place in January because people are stupid. So
I'm sad.
Y'all don't quit breathing on one another without a condom on your cocksucker. You're gonna have a bad day. Man, I'm breaking everything on YouTube right now. So I'm glad we're 20 minutes into this discussion because we'll, not that we need to worry about money, but still.
It's one of those things that, we got to be monetized to be demonetized.
Exactly. You got to spend money to earn it. And so we will be at Fan Fusion. I'm sure they're going to be really thrilled to have us after this discussion, but we will be there in May of 2022 as opposed to January of 2022. But we will be bringing you all the same material that you did not know about because we didn't announce our topics yet. So,
we haven't done that.
Are they subject to change now that it got moved?
Card is subject to change. I'm not sure. We can have that discussion in January when we get there to see if anything is less relevant than it was now.
Oh, shit.
One thing we can definitely say, because it has been plugged and they're happy to have it, is we will be doing a live version of the show where I will be presenting the comic book code. And that's going to be just fun for all the geeks out there. And in case you don't know who the heck we are, by the way, we are 3/4 of the hosts of the Disinformed podcast. And that's, we'll us.
Do that at the end.
I sincerely doubt that anybody watching this is stumbling into this just out of the clear blue and has no idea what's going on here.
Oh boy, After Dark episode 55, that's the perfect time to start.
I had no idea how big Fan Fusion was and like the talent that they get to go to the convention. I was like, oh,
I mean, considering I was attached, I would thought that would have sunk in a little faster, but
no, that's the comic.
You know what? That's Phoenix. A good point. Actually, that's on me. That's the me problem.
Should have knowed.
Oh well.
So yes, look for us in May. We'll have lots of things to wag our little chins about, and it's going to be a glorious time. So to hold on for that. But I think that was a very productive, improvised little show, friends and neighbors. It was. So thank you. We'll have to do this a little more regularly and talk about the things that John does that we can't stand.
I got a list. Let me go get it.
That'll be his own part of the YouTube. It'll just be like there'll be some After Darks, and it'll be like Disinformed complains about John, and that's
the destruction of John, volume 47.
There we go.
Can we all make a slideshow presentation and present it to each other about reasons that we don't like John?
And so today is my day. So let me share the screen. And so it's a little bit long. It's 30 slides, but you get me. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll just be like a normal lecture.
Do you know 30 things about John?
No, but I could come up with a couple.
I think I know more about John than John knows about himself at this point. He's forgotten more things about himself, I'd imagine, than he knew. Funny thing you say that, and that is, I hate to tell her stories for her, but that is how Sam was removed from her previous band. They created a PowerPoint presentation to show her how she did not fit in their plans going forward and made her sit through it, which is one of the worst dickish moves that I've ever heard in my life. And it was harrowing.
The whole thing?
Yeah. Bless her.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That gives me a great idea that if I ever break up with Jonah, it's gonna be a slideshow.
Here are all the reasons why I'm divorcing you. If you follow the pointer, can we turn the lights down, please? Winry, anybody?
Can everyone see? Can everyone hear me? Do I need to turn it up?
Am I translating over the Zoom? Are you all catching that? Yeah. Anybody? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. So Jonah, I just want to tell you that you failed at most everything, not the least of which in providing me with a chicken finger from time to time.
Oh my God.
Firstly, you're not Christian enough for me. The light of Christ doesn't radiate out of your eyes any longer.
No.
When we stare lovingly across from a room at one another, as all good Christian couples must, leave enough space for Jesus and the apostles.
All 12. Yeah.
Judas is at the rear.
Just how he likes it.
Bowels in or bowels out, like Judas. Okay, I'm officially far too giddy to do this any longer, and I shouldn't be allowed to steer right now. But thank you all for continuing with this nonsense and for being willing to chase a little whimsy with me. That was a very entertaining time.
Yes.
So, for the Disinformed After Dark this week, out of the dark, it seems, I am, in fact, Kenton Eldorado.
And I am Robert Greer, otherwise known as Algernon Greer.
Or Peener for those playing the home game.
John is not here. I don't need to use that name anymore.
All right.
And I'm Jean Grey Ghost.
And thank you all for being here. And in case, you like these things, you can press buttons and stuff that Michael loves to do. I'm just going to stop him before he starts. And by the way, Michael's got something to tell you.
Smash the doobly-doo. Like it. Subscribe.
Imagine if he was listening.
Make it stop.
And do
I the roar. God, do it.
Fucking
Sideshow Bob.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sideshow Mel. Get us out of here.
Zippity zoop, we're out of here.